It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, The Big Play Reflux Show!
Okay, do you need medical attention? Yeah. What is wrong? I don't know. I know damn about it.
Attack by Chuck. He's to the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside. Touchdown. Ready, away, back to goal. Here it is. You're doing those baseball.
It's time! The Big Play Reflux Show!
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Another non-victory Monday. But we are here testing out the new studio. Couple technical difficulties, only 20 minutes late. Not bad. I'm your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my co-host, Gabriella Cruz.
How we doing? Long time no see. This is pretty cool.
Mondays are a long day.
New studio vibes. That's what we're doing right now.
That's right.
It's pretty nice, and I know that we'll be doing a lot more with it.
Yes, we will. Dollar Dog Nick, sir, put yourself on camera. How we doing?
Doing all right. After Christmas, getting ready for New Year's.
Oh, we have my dad.
That was a
out-
lie. We got the paparazzi here in the
look
new
at
studio.
My
He's
dad
in the
wanted to
shot.
come see it, and he's taking pictures outside in the glass wall.
He's in the producer shot.
Oh,
It
that's
was great.
funny. Oh, that's awesome.
Dollar Dog, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. I really don't know. I
Well,
don't know where to
see you
go with the
later.
Browns. Yeah, really.
We're done.
All right, we got a good show for you tonight. Live tonight on the show. We'll kick it off with Cleveland headlines. Got to talk Browns, got to talk Cavs. Then we'll get into Stump the Flog.
Yeah, this
We're
will be
going
interesting.
mid-show instead of the interview. No one wanted to come in holiday Monday, which is quite all right with us. Stump the Flog brought to you by Labatt Blue. And then we'll finish with some big play bets brought to you by Tipico Sportsbook. Go get that $150 this week. That is ending. Go get free bets for January 1st. We'll look at some of those over-unders for the Browns Commanders. We're real excited for that game. Let's get it going. It's time for some Cleveland headlines.
Cleveland Headlines is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News, your go-to site for video games and more. Be sure to check out their featured article, Year of the Games 2022, where the Shack News crew gives out awards for the best games of the year. And remember that you can join in on all the discussions using the Shack News Cortex and subscribing to their Twitch channel. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @ShackNews and at shacknews.com.
Oh, man, putting Reflug out of business on the live reads. By the way, we didn't even acknowledge that Chris is
Yeah,
not
he's
here
not.
tonight. He's got his Mickey Mouse ears
He's no
on
longer with us. I'm just kidding.
in Disney, so we will have him back. Have you ever been to Disney World?
No.
Okay.
Well,
so
I went to the land, but that one's the California one.
Yes, so it can be hit or miss.
Okay.
I took the kiddos a few years back, and it can be the greatest place or the worst place.
Really?
Yeah.
How so? Just crowded? Or
I probably won't go back.
just too
Crowded,
overwhelming?
hot, yeah. Just
Okay.
No, thank you. But Chris, good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. We'll see you next show.
He takes one trip to Disney. We're like, you're out of here.
Yeah, we're
You're
done.
not on
We're
it.
done.
We had to let him go.
All right, Browns. We have to talk about it. Biggest takeaway for you, Gab, out of that game?
Probably the biggest takeaway for me was I thought that being the team that is so familiar with this crazy weather, we live in Cleveland. I know it even for us it was cold, but I figured we would be a little bit more well prepared and equipped for that compared to the Saints. So
New Orleans Saints.
yeah, like the
Yes.
little things that we had with the dropped passes and things. And I know it's slippery out there and cold, but I kind of thought we were going to be the tougher team and just make less mistakes.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't address this on the Bernie show, but Myles Garrett sitting out
Oh, yeah.
for what was the first, Nick? Was it the first series, the first drive?
Yeah, just the first series.
And Stefanski today said it was just a team decision.
Yeah, he didn't want to go into it, which you don't blame him. I mean, he's not going
You
to.
can't. You can't.
But people were upset that he didn't get into more detail on
Right.
it. But so who
With
knows?
Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Other people have said that Miles has butted heads with coaches. In some of his interviews, he's said things that people think maybe is a shot to like Joe
Yeah.
Woods or somebody. So who knows? Maybe
He strikes me like slightly passive aggressive.
I was going to say, maybe there's a hint of that comes across maybe in his media presence.
You don't bench the best player on your team for no reason.
Right, so disciplinary action has been taken.
not an elimination game. I mean,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I've been a Kevin Stefanski supporter since he's been here. I think I still want him around, but that game, like, in hindsight, you look at it and you're like, oh, he did horrible. But then you have 2 touchdown passes that were dropped.
That
If
were
we do
dropped.
that, the game is completely different. But it's like we're talking about that every single week with Kevin Stefanski.
I do feel like you specifically, you really harp on the fact that some of the scripting, or maybe lack thereof later on, or
Great
inability
at scripting, like 10 to
make-
15 plays.
and
yeah.
then not making those adjustments type deal, or maybe just trying to be a little too cutesy or too smart. So,
But to
yeah.
your point, like, so the Saints threw it the entire game 8 times. So you have Taysom Hill comes in.
And they still scored 17.
They whooped our butts. Yeah.
Was it 17?
17 in a row. I think, what do we have?
yeah, we were up 10-0, and then they
And
scored
then-
17 straight.
Oh, okay.
They completed 8 passes. They were like 8 for 17 or something.
Horrible. Eight completions in that game. So you know they're going to run it.
Yeah.
Their quarterback that they brought, so the Dalton was in, Taysom Hill comes in. You know that guy can't throw all that well. I don't get how Joe Woods' defense, literally, you know what's going to happen, and you just can't stop it.
Yeah, and that's fair, especially even, with the weather and everything, you would expect that it would be a more running heavy game just across the board. So,
Well, in Taysom Hill, every time he was quarterback, they didn't throw one pass with him. So as soon as he
That's what
steps
I'm
behind
saying.
center, you know it's either he's keeping the
Yes.
ball or he's handing it to Kamara, and they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, we got to sign someone in free agency, some defensive tackle or one of our limited picks. We got to fix this team because I'm so sick of losing. We have these conversations literally on the show every
I think
year.
it was funny today with the Bernie show. You said something like, I zoomed out and I was like, we literally sound like this every week. Something to the extent of us saying, well, if he would have made that pass.
Copy and paste.
If we would have just caught that ball,
Yeah.
there's always just something we're saying, a one-liner that's like, well, it could have if we just, and it's kind of like, that's.
And all
our
we talk
recurring
about is
narrative.
consistency. All we want is consistency. Like the only consistent thing that we do is suck. Like we
Consistently
always suck.
inconsistent, right?
It's so frustrating.
Well, and back to the drops. Is that a weather thing? I mean, Cooper, he's always
No, it's not.
sure-handed.
Well,
I
I
don't
did
know.
actually.
Slipped.
I
He
did
did
think
look like
Cooper
he-
did slip.
But
He
Njoku got
slipped.
hit in the face. Like the ball hit him in the face. I'm pretty positive on that last touchdown.
Who, Chief? Did you say?
Yeah, Njoku.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it wasn't just 4 degrees in Cleveland. It was 4 degrees in other places, and
Well,
no
and
one
it was-
else lost the game because of drop passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And it was 4 degrees for the Saints too, and they found a way to.
They beat us.
Right.
Yeah.
Coaching. And dropped passes.
Coaching and dropped passes.
So we had our buddy, friend of show, Brett, on Twitter, gave us 4 club seats, second row to give away. And we could not give them away. Negative 30-degree wind chill. Gab, how many Labatt's would you have to drink to go to that game?
I love Labatt, and I will support you all the way. But there isn't a number of Labatts. And this is coming from, I ran cross country in the day, high school and college, and I have raced in really terrible conditions with practically, like, you're out there and you're freezing and it's hail, snow, and you can't feel your toes.
Yeah.
That, though, I know you're playing with more things and they're bigger guys and whatnot. For them, I think for them, it'd be fun to play in, but as a spectator where you're standing, if you're not, like, running around, I don't know. There's not enough Labatts for me to want to do that.
Yeah, that would have to be a significant beer jacket. Dollar Dog, what's the coldest game you've ever gone to? Have you ever sat out in the frigid air?
Yeah, I had one. I don't remember what year it was. My brother and I went to a Steelers game when we were way out of it. It was one of those where the Steelers pack our whole stadium, and it was freezing. So I remember they were giving out the Gators.
Consistency.
Yeah, they were giving out the orange and brown Gators for free passing them out to everybody.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember from that's my only cold game I think I've ever been to.
Yeah, I just think it's so different when you get to play in that kind of weather versus be a spectator. If you're moving around in it, it's a little different, and you got adrenaline. But as a spectator, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're pretty rowdy and had some drinks in you, but even then, I just feel like your face is so cold.
Yeah. All right, getting back to the losing. So, what do we have to do to fix this team? Like, Gab, if you were Jimmy Haslam and you could fix one thing on the team, what would you fix?
So there is definitely, you could go the individual player and personnel route.
Yep.
For me, I kind of look at it a little bit bigger picture where I feel like there's some lack of leadership still.
Yeah.
Even I think it speaks volumes that if there's a disciplinary thing that's happening with Miles right now, well, that's kind of, I could see how that might sink a little deeper into the chemistry of the whole team. How does that affect everyone else? Is he...
Because he's supposed to kind of be the leader, right?
Yeah, it's not a shot at him, but if there's a little attitude thing going on, and now that kind of bleeds into everybody else, I mean, the whole goal is to have everybody on the same page. And
we're gonna have Myles Garrett's dad breaking down film on Facebook
on the OBJ 2.0 situation. No, I mean, I just think that there needs to be a little more leadership, and it's different. But we may have glossed over it before. But even in baseball, you look at
Tito.
Tito. It does start at the top. Francona is such a gem. I don't know how you can compare to him, but there's something that he does. He sets the tone for the entire, and there isn't a guy that we keep on the roster who's going to bring that negative, you're going to get a Bauer, you're out. You're going to throw the ball like that and do some crazy stuff. Well, we can't have, you're talented, but we don't have space for you on our team.
Right.
And things like that. They make decisions that allow for that chemistry to be there and that positive leadership. So I don't know. I kind of take a zoomed out approach and look at it that way and think there's something with the culture that, and I know it's so cliche to say, but.
No, it's true. So do you think is it Kevin Stefanski? Does Kevin need to sit down with Tito
it's possible,
and learn something?
It's possible maybe players, and I'm just speculating. I could know nothing. But, you want to not have to question your leader at the top, right? Like we always say, in Tito we trust, for example, in baseball. I don't think we're making us in Stefanski we trust signs when coming to the
not yet. No.
to the field yet. And it's no shot against anybody. It's just to say the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Well, and it's not the first time because this was Garrett. Perrion Winfrey's been sat multiple times this year.
Yeah, but he kind of seems like a knucklehead. But
then you have Delpit. Wasn't it Delpit that got suspended one play 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? They set him the first play so he couldn't start. So I don't know what these guys are doing, if it's some new hard-nosed thing that Stefanski's doing where he's saying, hey, if you're late to a meeting, you're going to sit or whatever, and this is like his stand. I don't know. But it's weird that there's such small punishments. It's one-play punishment. Miles had a 3-play punishment for the first series.
It's like me, giving my 5-year-old Sam a timeout for 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to go very far.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I haven't figured out how to control him either. So maybe me and Kevin need to sit down.
You need fired.
And talk, yeah.
I don't know. And then maybe it's just a different sport. Maybe it's harder because I kind of look at it from my experience in baseball. I kind of look at it and compare, and I don't know. It's probably pretty hard to rally a huge troop like that. You know, I don't
It's
know.
really weird though because like it's 1 week, especially if we're in prime time. Like the players show up, and
They do.
everything is cured.
They do
The defense looks
rise to the
good.
occasion in those
Yes.
moments, and everybody looks like they're rah-rah together. and-
Right. So I'm very curious to see when we play the Commanders on. Is that Sunday?
Sunday, finally.
We're back to Sundays. Okay, good. How they kind of respond to being completely mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And, you know, some players are really going to want to utilize that time to show up and make sure they've got a good place or position for next season.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We shall see. Jimmy Haslam is in the news. Kind of. This is some guy on CBS. Who was it? Jonathan Jones, I believe.
Yeah, he's on like the post-game show for CBS.
Okay. He said that Jimmy wants to keep Stefanski around. Makes sense. I mean, you can't get rid of him after Watson's come back for like just a few games. You got to see what you got there.
Yeah.
But Jimmy wants to overhaul the offense to be more like the University of Tennessee Air Raid. Are you surprised when these stories come out anymore? Like, take it for what it's worth, but I don't know. I'm kind of with Jimmy. Like, I want to see us throw the ball.
Okay. And, yeah, so Tennessee was the #1 offense in college.
So Jimmy Haslam's a Tennessee guy.
Uh-huh.
And
All right, okay.
you can't go college to pro, but I think we have to figure out if Deshaun Watson can get back to being like a top 5 franchise quarterback, and I
Yeah.
think you have to let him
Do it, sling it.
sling it.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of, isn't that the point of why we got him?
And we talked about that with Baker when you know, he was complaining. He's like, "Oh, get me off the leash." Let him go sling it. See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really do that. Then he went to Carolina. He wasn't very good. But you look at him now, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
So I think you have to see what we've got in Deshaun and do something like that. And people complain. They're like, well, that's not conducive to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's going to be fine as long as you give him the ball, which we don't really do either. But you give him the ball, you let Watson just give him some more threats in the offseason. I think our wide receivers are actually progressing pretty well. I like Cooper, even though he dropped it.
Yeah.
I like DPJ. David Bell, I have no idea. I don't think anyone has
You
any
actually
idea
kind
on
of
David
alluded
Bell.
to something interesting too, like letting the player do his thing, specifically the quarterback. Obviously, I think that was one of the things with Baker. I think sometimes he felt a little in a box and stressed about he could make a play, and you could see that going back and forth in his head sometimes. Like when he was himself and switched things up on the fly and did his own thing. I think there's a good balance of having that freedom. And obviously Deshaun is still getting his feet under him and he's learning all this new stuff and he's getting back into football. But that could be something interesting that you pointed out. I mean, if he doesn't get that freedom to do his thing or adjust on the fly, could that...
Kevin Stefanski will get fired.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Jimmy Haslam will get rid of Stefanski if he doesn't utilize the guy we paid $230 million for.
Right. Well, because it seems like Stefanski is very set on his things to do, you know?
But they
So-
did say
Yeah.
that was the reason Deshaun wanted to come here. I'm sure the $230
For
million helped.
Stefanski, right?
They said he loves Stefanski's offense. And now they want
in
Stefanski
theory,
to
and
change his
we've
offense.
talked about this for years now, which is crazy, but like in theory, Kevin Stefanski's offense works. Like running backs, tight ends, a ton of tight ends, and get playmakers who can make plays after, you know, you throw a short route. The issue is like you have to make sure you catch it. And so, you know, it can work, but I don't think it's like the perfect fit for Deshaun Watson. I did like the RPOs and seeing him run. And we saw that one touchdown for the Browns. Yeah. I think that's more to come, but Stefanski's they've got to get on the same page.
Well, and I'm sure it was just an example, but for Jimmy. But pick an NFL offense
Jimmy.
that's been successful. Don't say Tennessee, University of Tennessee. He could have said Kansas City,
Yeah,
Buffalo.
Did he? Was that like a direct quote?
It
from
wasn't
him?
a quote. They said.
See, I don't trust any of that.
yeah.
Like Jimmy Haslam, like take it for what it's worth. Like when he says something, I think view it as like something a fan says. Like I know people say he's implemented himself into like kind of like the day to day. I don't think so. I think he kind of lets everyone do their thing. But we shall see. Final thoughts on the Browns for now.
It was a
It was
Labatt Blue Christmas. That's my final thought.
We got Gab singing today and Hanford
I
singing
had
today.
to do a little thing because Hanford did it.
You're out doing Hanford.
Got to sneak one
He's not
in
gonna be happy.
because my man's put one on me. So
Hey, we're getting text. The new studio looks great.
awesome.
Look at that.
We didn't
Dollar Dog Nick.
Sounds
Nice
good.
one.
we didn't get here a couple hours ahead of time and throw things on the wall.
We didn't decide to do this last minute.
We didn't decide day of.
Good test run here. Good test run. All right, let's talk some Cavs. Fun team to watch.
Yeah. Tell me about the Cavs. What have we been doing? They won 5 straight.
5 straight. Lost to Toronto on Friday, but they've looked really, really good. Huge game tonight against the Nets.
yeah,
I
let's
believe
check
it's
in on it.
over.
Lost by 8.
Oh,
Lost by
Yeah, it was a little
8.
back and forth at the end there. They stretched away on them.
Yeah, I mean they got destroyed early first quarter. Double Jared Allen. Darius Garland 46 points.
Woo!
That's pretty good. We're gonna have to start
Woo.
betting the over on Darius Garland going
46
forward.
points from Darius
Donovan
Garland.
Mitchell 15 points. Evan Mobley 6 rebounds, 12 points.
Sorry.
You all right over there?
I tried to hide it, and there was no hiding that one.
That was aggressive. You should have put yourself on for that. All right, Gab, who scares you the most in the East as we're kind of looking forward? This is obvious. This is absolutely a playoff team, the Cavs.
Okay.
So we've got
the Raptors that we just lost to.
They don't scare me.
Have we played the Celtics recently?
Yeah, we've beat them twice,
Oh yeah.
and they're probably the best team in the East.
Well,
I
they
would
are.
say.
They are.
I think them in Milwaukee.
Yeah. We're 1-2 versus Milwaukee. We're 0-1 versus Brooklyn, who's surprisingly has kind of turned it up.
They've been awesome the last couple of weeks. I think
Yeah.
they've just been on it because Kyrie's kind of cooled the crazy a little bit, I think, and then KD's been healthy. So I don't know if Ben Simmons has even played, but that guy's such a space cadet. But I know those two have been
Yeah.
on.
Even though we've beat them twice, I think Boston probably scares me the most. But as long as we make the playoffs, I don't really care.
This is true.
This is true. And we've got me versus Nuggets coming
oh,
up.
yeah. I'm glad you brought
Is that
that
next
up.
week? It's
January
6th. So what
2
is
weeks.
it? I don't even know what the
Today's
day
the
is.
26th, so 10 days, 11 days.
It's super weird. I've had nuggets on my own recently.
You're prepping.
The last time I think I've subconsciously
Training.
had it on my calendar because I haven't had McDonald's nuggets since the show, since we did that
Fronts
show.
me versus Nuggets.
Yeah, since Sir Yacht frecked in your basement.
2-time champ in the basement.
How do you make it to like 80? 88 or
I
something?
think he got
Something
to like
ridiculous.
90 or so.
It
So
was
what
ridiculous.
we're going to have to do, because gambling will be legal on January 6th, we're going to have Tipico put an over-under
Our
on
own
Joey
bet.
for me versus Nuggets. And I think if we look at past performance, don't quote me, but I think they would probably put it at like 92.
You think?
So I think the adrenaline would be running for Sir Yacht
Mm-hmm.
if he knows that people are betting on it.
Yeah.
And I think he'd go over.
I'm sure he's matured as a competitive nuggets eater.
I would think so.
You
What
know?
did you eat in that first week? 10?
Barely.
10 piece? A cold 10
and
piece?
it was just like so. Remember what were you doing? Trying to heat them up?
I brought the air fryer down.
It just I don't know. They're so drying or something. I didn't want to ruin nuggets for me, so that's why I kind of slowed down. I was like every once in a while I want a nugget, and it still did slow me down because I hadn't had nuggets until like this. In the past 3 months, I've just twice I've had nuggets, and I'm like, you know what, those sound good. So it took me 2 years to recover from trying to speed eat. I might have made it to like 12. I don't know.
Do you think it would be frowned upon because we got this fancy new studio?
Mm-hmm.
to do me versus Nuggets down here. I don't think
Oh
so.
no, not at all.
The desk is bigger. We could fit 4 people up here. Do the wide shot. Show the whole desk.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Oh,
we could put
but we
500 nuggets on this
We can
desk.
do a thing where if you eat too many nuggets and you puke, then you gotta
No, if someone pukes in here, no.
you gotta place a bet or something. You gotta pay us more. You gotta pay us more money to put on your typical bets.
All right, so we'll see if we can get that loaded in for the 6th. Sir Yacht, you're coming down to the studio. Pump those numbers up, baby. All right, it is time for
What's the meme? Yeah,
you gotta.
those are. I forget.
So
I'm too
those are
tired.
rookie numbers.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank
we'll
you. Those are rookie numbers.
Put that in one of the show clip. That meme. All right, let's move on. Dollar Dog Nick, what time is it?
It is Stump the Flog time.
Oh no.
Gab's
I'm
probably
freak-
not your favorite segment, huh?
I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out.
So
What are we doing?
they've both been trying to sneak hints from me all night, but I've kept it away from them. I told them
Okay.
it's Browns related. It is.
Browns related, current or historic?
Everyone's favorite internet personality, Jake Paul.
Oh, okay.
Not really everyone's favorite, but
Oh no, I know what this is gonna be.
He was hyped up and got to come out and smash the guitar this week. Well, I gave you one of the answers, I guess, but the Browns had 8 home games, so 8 different people smashed a guitar this year at a Browns game. We're going to name all 8. Let's name 7 since I just gave you Jake Paul. Gab, would you rather go first or
I gotta
second?
go first because I only know Bernie Kosar.
Bernie
Smashed the
Kosar
guitar.
did smash a
Yes,
guitar.
he did.
Hmm.
By the way, I think probably the best smashing.
Oh, incredible. We're not biased at all. But no, for real. It was a great smash.
J.R. Smith.
Oh, crap. That
Swish.
was a good one.
The
Yeah.
Henny God.
Wow, good one. Good one. You got me.
Shirtless.
Yep. All right, think about this, Gab.
Okay, Gab, there's one more Cav.
Oh, there's another Cav. Okay.
There's a Guardian.
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
there was
yeah, yeah.
actually 2 Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh.
it was one
I'm
Cav.
counting JR
oh,
because you said
wait,
it.
no. Tristan McKenzie.
Tristan McKenzie
Yes,
with Austin
the
Hodges.
Slim Reaper.
I went
Hedges.
baseball, but okay, so you do the Cavs.
Okay,
Donovan Mitchell.
Oh,
Donovan
yes.
Mitchell.
I believe Darius was with him.
I
Yeah.
was going to
Yeah.
say Darius.
They came out together, and then even when Tristan was out there, Mackenzie, Austin Hedges came out, and then
Yes.
Oscar Gonzalez was kind of like behind the
Right.
scenes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we're
How many is that?
missing. What is that? 4?
4.
We got 5 counting Jake Paul, so we're missing 3.
3.
Oh, okay. Where's it?
Who's up?
All
Gab?
3 are former Browns players.
Okay. So, maybe did Joe Thomas do one of these?
He was the first one. He was the
Okay.
opener. So we got 2
That was
more. Dave.
mine. There's only 2
Okay,
more. Oh, man, I'm
okay.
drawing a blank. Gab's going to beat me.
One, early, well, not early 2000s.
Don't give me a clue because
Okay.
I know Gab really wants to win.
All right, sorry.
Um,
2 former Browns.
Let me have my glory.
2 former Browns.
I
We've
feel like
got
you're gonna
Bernie,
get one.
We've got Joe. I want to say Josh Cribbs, but I'm not going to because I was reading his face.
Oh.
I have a terrible poker face.
I'm not going Josh Cribbs. Is
That's a
that-
good call.
Okay.
Okay, shoot.
I would say.
2 former Brown players.
If you want a hint, I can give it, but I don't think Gab will get the last one. If
All
you
right,
get
give me a
this one.
lifeline. One hint.
I'm going to give you the hint for the harder guy.
Okay.
Um,
Probably older.
played with Bernie.
Oh, yes. Webster.
Webster
Webstar.
Slaughter. All right, Gab.
Slaughter. I remember that one too. Yes.
I
Ugh.
don't. I think that was the Tampa game, and that's the game I missed.
I
That's the
watched
only-
that. I saw Webster. He looked great. Crushed it on the guitar.
Okay, Gab.
Give her a clue.
Clue. That's a really good clue. Well, really easy clue, I think.
It rhymes with.
Yeah. He left the Browns.
Do a rhymes one. I'm not going to know this.
He left the Browns and went to the Steelers and played with them for
Oh,
like 5 years or
yes.
6 years. He was a huge Cleveland guy, first round pick, cornerback. Always wore like the blinged out Cleveland chain.
Sat courtside at a ton of Cavs games.
Huge Cav guy. Has like elf ears. Doesn't he kind of have like the pointy ears? You ever notice?
How come I don't?
He was like Mr. Cleveland, and then he went to Pittsburgh, and people were ticked. And then he came back and retired a Brown.
Retired this year.
When
This
was
year.
this? Oh, this year. Shoot.
He's from like he got drafted
Yeah.
You're really going to make her look bad if she doesn't get this now.
Hang
You
on,
gave
hang
way
on.
too many clues.
Hang on, it came and then it left.
Same first name as one of your other answers.
Okay.
All right, I don't even remember our answers. All right, let me think about this because I remember this. Came back and retired. Oh, okay, it came to me. Okay, I know who it is. Everyone, calm down. I know who this is. Yes, and I see him
Hold on,
in
let
my
me put
face.
the camera right on Gab.
I know him. He was, and he's a good guy too. He was a really great ambassador for our city.
Everyone loves
was.
All
him.
right, just
You're really ramping this up
he's
here.
so athletic. How come I can't think of his name?
No, you didn't have it that whole time.
No, I have it. No, I have his face.
Oh, you got his face.
It's coming to me.
Does that count?
Okay.
Does the face
No,
count?
no.
Describe
I
it.
know this. This is gonna bother me. We're gonna stay.
He looks like
we
an
are-
elf.
We are gonna stay here until I get this.
Played for Florida.
I
First
know
round
no,
pick.
No, I know who it is. I'm saying I can't think of his name. His
Rhymes
escape.
with
Don't tell me the rhyme. If you give me the first letter of his name, though, I'll get it.
a first name or last name?
Let's do first name.
Joe.
Jay. Oh.
Jay.
No.
Is it? It's Jay. No.
Joe.
What are you talking about?
His name's Joe.
Joe Hayden. Thank you.
Boom!
She
Why
wins.
did you say the name instead of the? I don't know. Anyway, I'm so tired. But his face was smack dab in my brain. I couldn't think of his name.
I'm gonna have to look at a
It's
picture.
the bright lights of the new studio.
But Joe by itself, Joe
Right? Doesn't really think.
doesn't.
You don't think
it's
Joe
Joe
Hayden.
Hayden.
It's
It's
Joe
like
Hayden.
yeah, you don't say it by itself. So I'm like, what?
That's right.
So
That was a good one, Dollar Dog.
I thought it was. I was trying to do something
Man,
different.
I'm so glad we got that. It was gonna bother me
Yep.
so bad.
Well, and speaking of that, then, so who would we want to see next season if they keep this tradition? A lot of people are complaining about it; they don't really like it. But if they keep it, who'd be up?
I think
Stipe?
it's kind of cool. I think the Browns do a good job with the in-game experience, like just going to the games. Thank God, because the games are just so bad. So I would say I'd like to see Stipe.
Oh, good one.
I'd like to see more former Browns. I'd like to see Metcalf, maybe Reggie Langhorne,
They'd be good.
Ernest
Hanford.
Biner, Hanford.
Give our guy Hanford. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. Oh, he'd be great too.
I thought a funny one would be Albert Bell. He would smash the heck out of that hammer
Oh.
or that
Yeah.
guitar.
I don't know if we can get him to fly in from Arizona.
LeBron, if we're winning,
Yeah.
he'll only come if we're in first.
Mark Price.
That would be big.
That would be a good
I
one.
think Mark Price would be good. Fly him in.
Drew Carey.
Oh yeah, Machine Gun Kelly if we can get him.
That'd
Yep.
be good. So they could keep this going
They
for a
could
couple
easily
years.
keep it going.
Yeah, you know what? It started out maybe a little funky, and then it
Like,
gathered
what are you
speed.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I like
Then
it.
it got cool.
Let's look at some bets.
I was not prepared for this.
That's all
Joe
right.
Hayden. Think about that though.
Joe Hayden.
Joe by itself sounds so
Joe.
funny.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Joe Hayden is just the way it's said.
Joe
Yeah.
Hayden.
That's why I wanted you to give me the first letter and the last letter, because then I would.
Joe Hayden.
All right, let's look at some bets.
It's time for some bets. Let's go. Big play bets with Tipico Sportsbook. Get ready for January 1st with free $150 loaded into your Tipico Sportsbook app. Download it right now. That is going away. You're not going to be able to get that forever. Go get free $150 free bets. It comes in $25 bet credits. January 1st, you log into your app. You can bet $25 for free on whatever the heck you want. We will have a ton of custom bets. We'll get some big play boosts out there for those bets, give you some better odds on all of those bets. Go make a deposit, download that app, and let's do some parlays January 1st. And let's start it off with Browns Commanders, because we're going to have to bet this because no one cares about it anymore.
So you might as well make some money.
Right? Browns averaging 11 points per game over the last 3 games.
Oof.
Absolutely pathetic. Commanders' last 13 games have had over 40 total points. Washington only scored 23 times since September. It's actually going to be nice. It's not going to be negative 30 degrees. It's going to be almost 60, I think. So
You said no.
it's in DC as well.
Okay, only 3 of the Commanders' last 13 games.
Yeah.
Okay. Have had it for.
Yeah, they've played in a lot of low-scoring games.
So let's look at the over-under first. So 40.5 points in this game.
I am
Over, under.
inclined, even though I'm still gonna go under.
Yeah. We've seen nothing.
Nothing that makes me think otherwise.
Last week was the first time I bet under ever. It hit, but I got nervous when those 17 points came through. I was like, oh, this is going over. Under, we'll stick with under. Let's keep it going. Another over-under, 1.5 sacks for Myles Garrett.
Considering that he won't be
Suspended.
Benched.
benched for some odd
All right, let's start with
reason.
this. Over-under, plays Myles Garrett's benched in this game. I will set it at a half.
How many times he will be benched?
Yep,
Well, maybe he already got it out of the way, so
I think so.
under.
I think that's a lock. Sacks for Myles Garrett, over under 1.5. So over, you'd have to get 2 sacks.
Yeah, I'll go over on that.
2 sacks? I like that.
I gotta go on my
Why
guy.
the heck
I
not?
Because you
I
know
would
what?
too.
Because maybe he's sat out and now he's ready to unleash the beast
Well, and we're the
Yep.
kings of being awesome in meaningless
in
games.
meaningless games.
Yeah.
So
So this is Dollar Dog. I'm looking at your notes here. Carson Wentz, obviously not as mobile as he once was, but Wentz was sacked 9 times in a game this
The
season.
Eagles got him. I think it was back in
9
September.
times?
9.
Bueller? Wow.
Yeah.
All right, over. Definitely over. I'm with you, Gab.
we persuaded you.
And Washington's kind of fallen apart lately too.
Yeah.
They were on a hot streak. I think they
The
won.
whole organization. Like,
Yeah. They're kind of Browns adjacent. Never have a quarterback.
Yep.
Their ownership isn't loved by the fans. Snyder's more of a scumbag than Haslam, but
Absolutely.
they remind you of the Browns. They're kind of like the NFC Browns between them and the Lions.
Browns are 2.5 point underdogs. We're not favored against. I mean, the Commanders have looked better than I actually thought they would. But Gab, prediction for this game?
I was gonna say I haven't done a ton of homework on them, but
2.5 points.
mm,
So we're getting 2.5 points.
right. And your question is if we will
Win. So what they call covering the spread.
covering the spread.
Covering the spread.
So win or stay within 2.
I think we'll win. 'Cause-
Confident.
Well, I keep going back to the idea that because
We're back to positivity.
well, I keep going back to the idea that maybe because this doesn't really mean much, we might see something blossom.
This is what the Browns do. Like once the
just-
game doesn't matter,
they're
Colt
gonna-
McCoy goes and beats Tom Brady.
They're gonna throw you off, and we're betting now, so it's like expect the curveball.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we'll introduce everyone to emotional hedge betting, which is where you bet against the Browns, and then when they inevitably lose, you win money. This is where we become usually week 10 to week 17. All right, let's stat line. If we had to build a stat line, is there any player that you have faith in this game to put up some stats? I'm going to go Deshaun Watson. I think
Okay.
he's had, is it 3 games now under his
Yeah, this will
under
be
his
game
belt?
4.
This will be game 4. He looks a little bit more comfortable, I would say. He's actually throwing the ball pretty well. He's running the ball. I will say Deshaun Watson over 250 yards passing and over 20 yards rushing.
Wow, over 250 yards passing.
Yep, so 270 total.
Okay.
That would be my bet if it was January 1st.
All right.
Anyone you think is going to do well? I guess Myles Garrett, that's pretty good. 2 sacks.
Yeah.
DPJ has been
Get him back on track.
pretty solid. Can it be how simple / complex are the bets? Can it just be like catches
We
X,
can do whatever we want.
X amount of touchdown passes?
Yeah. That's the cool thing with
And that's
Tipico.
it?
So they'll let us build whatever custom bets we want. So
Okay.
literally anything that's going on in your head right now, we can put
so,
in there.
So that's what I wanted to ask is like, how creative can we be? Can it be something that's not, Well, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it can because we said the over under
Do-
benched or whatever.
I don't know if we could put that one in,
I
but I
wanna-
think we could convince him to.
I went an over/under on seconds. The camera catches Stefanski staring at his play card.
Okay, yeah, something like that.
Because the fans have been just
that's what I
killing him
wondered
for
about.
that.
So
Yeah.
one time I beat my buddy Chuck in a bet, and it was over under on the seconds of the national anthem,
Oh,
and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
Kelly Clarkson, and it was like to a millisecond. Like we had to keep refreshing the odds and see who won because it was
Oh,
just
my
so
God.
close.
That's incredible.
So Gab, yes, we can bet anything
That's
we
kind
want.
of cool. Because, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, somebody. I like the creative ones now. What else is there?
Well, someone's got to catch all those
We're
yards.
gonna do like a gambling 101 class as well, where we like go through what you can bet, parlays, teasers, prop bets, all of that fun stuff. Maybe we'll turn that into its own show.
There we go.
Yes. One other thing that we can bet on, maybe, Ohio State, Georgia, if it goes into overtime, we could do live betting.
Oh, wow.
Yo. So that's over under right now is 62. Ohio State is plus 6.5, which I don't know if that's enough points.
I saw people smarter than me online today were saying if it gets to 7, take the
Take it.
Buckeyes. But they said under 7, it's kind of up in the air.
Kind of a, yeah.
And
So
that
that's
game-
going to be New Year's Eve. We're having a party down here at the studio. That'll be on. So fingers crossed for a little overtime.
So what
when we
did
do
you say,
some
Dollar
bets.
Dog? If it was over 7, don't take it?
They said take the Buckeyes if it gets to 7, because then they're
Okay.
getting a whole touchdown.
Okay.
And people figure they should at least stay within a touchdown. But anything under that, it's kind of wishy-washy, because if they lose by 7, you're just not going to cover. But that game actually kicks off at 8, so Dave, I think you're right. I think we get to 1 overtime. We might
One
be able to get
overtime,
it.
baby. Yes.
Oh, right.
And they never
How
kick off
fun
on
would
time.
that be, by the way?
That would be cool.
12:01. Boom, boom, boom.
Server crash.
Oh no! Don't say that.
That would be
Everybody
one long
betting.
game, though.
That would be.
Yeah.
It might have to be more than 1 overtime.
It might. It
What are
might
the
have to be.
what are the collegiate rules on overtime? I think they're a little different than NFL.
Oh yeah.
That's where, each team gets the ball at like the 30, 25,
I think
30.
NFL
score.
is NFL where it's like 2 and then you're done.
So 2 overtimes and then a
Yeah.
tie. Yeah. So what I like college way more than the NFL. I think
Mm-hmm.
it makes way more sense. So basically, you're almost in the red zone, and you either score a touchdown or a field goal, and then the other team gets a chance to try to do the same.
And then, bam.
And then, so
It's-
if they both get touchdown, it just keeps going.
Oh,
And then
Or
I
if
know
they
they've
both get a field goal,
Yeah.
or if they don't score and they both same result, it just keeps going.
okay, so we're
It's awesome.
It could happen.
Let's go. Let's go.
There's one of your memes, Gab. So you're telling me there's a chance.
There we
Any
go.
chance.
Yes.
Those are rookie numbers. We've had a couple meme references tonight.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. So, yeah, a lot of good options. Let's get those bets in. That'll be fun. All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of this studio and call it a night?
I got one. That game being in Atlanta kind of sucks. That you have to play Georgia in Atlanta, the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
I know they can't bring any games up here because no one wants to watch a national championship in the snow except Ohio people.
I know, but, like, where's TCU and Michigan playing? Do you know where that is?
I don't know which.
Look that up real
which one
quick before we get out of here.
I don't think it's the Rose Bowl.
While you're looking that up, I'll give shout-outs. ShackNews.com. Go download their Twitch. Subscribe to their channel, video game content. Labatt. Go drink some Labatts.
Yeah, thanks, Labatt.
They're delicious.
They're really, they've been hooking us up lately.
Heck yeah.
The 12 days of Labatt Miss and our cool gear.
That's right. Shout out to the crew, Doug Karen and Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Some of my favorite people. And Tipico, go download that 150 in free bets. I think it's going to end this week, so you might as well go get some free bets. If you haven't, go download that app. Use that link in our show clips. Dollar Dog Nick, what do you got?
Michigan is also kind of on the road because they're in the Fiesta Bowl. That's Arizona, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, why can't you just flip those? and Georgia and OSU plays in the Fiesta Bowl, and TCU and Michigan go down to Atlanta.
Yeah. Or now that there's a dome in Minnesota, there's a dome in Detroit, why don't they move some bowls around? I know you have the historic ones, obviously, with the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl and all that, but it'd be kind of cool to move something up north. It kind of sucks that it's always out west or in the south, but I don't know. That's a complaint for another day. Chris would be all over that, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. He's at Disney right now on maybe at the Haunted Mansion or
More of a teacup guy, I think.
Do you think Chris McNeil is a coaster guy?
What do you mean by that?
Do they
like,
not? So I've never been to the Disney World. I was a little bit deprived.
Oh, like a roller coaster.
But
I thought you meant
there's-
like a
there's-
coaster.
No, there's coasters there though, right? It's like very.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is he going to be on one of those?
I bet he is.
You think so?
He strikes me as a coaster guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a coaster guy.
Let's
Thrill
get him. Let's make
seeker.
him. Let Cody make him a T-shirt coaster guy.
Yeah.
What's coaster backwards? That'll be his new
Right, his new handle.
I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
It's too late. That's all the time we have tonight. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflog Show. We will see you in 2023, right?
Ret soak, that's what it is. Okay.
Good night. Happy holidays. We'll see you New Year's Eve. Oh, by the way, first bet. Bernie's putting it in. 12:01. First bet in Ohio. We'll all be together. That'll be super fun. We gotta figure out what we're gonna bet on, but I think we're narrowing it down. So we will see you next Monday. We'll see you on New Year's Eve. Happy holidays. We'll see you then. Take care.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, the Big Play Reflog Show!